In this Daily Drop, it's another book recommendation, so let's go. All right, everybody, it is Wednesday's episode for the week, and outside there, it is pretty nasty. We've got a combination of snow, freezing rain, ice, God knows what else. I'll find out when I go outside to check it out. But I thought before I do that and deal with all of that mess, I will talk to you about a book that I think is worthwhile. It is called Exposure. It's an infographic guide to photography by David Taylor. It's been in my library for a long time, and I think it's not just a great text as an intro text, but it's a great fill-in-the-blanks textbook. Now, when I first started in photography, I was about 7 or 8 years old when I started shooting film, and about 9 when I got my first real camera, a Pentax K1000. I didn't really understand the exposure triangle, shutter speed, aperture, and at the time when I was using film ASA, the speed of the film, and how they all worked together and how stops worked and how I could get the results that I wanted to get out of a camera. And I wish I had this book at that time. So let's just go ahead and take a look at some of the pages inside of here. And it's a great book. I mean, it covers a lot of stuff. And again, it may not be the book for everybody, but let's take a look at the different sections. We've got light and color, equipment, exposure, basics. We've got controlling exposure, filters, flash, if you're going to be doing any flash photography. But there's some stuff in there that applies to motion capture as well. And I've bookmarked some pages, as you may know by now if you've been to the channel. For me, books are supposed to be used, so they're not that precious. I don't need to keep them pristine. And if I want to mark up one and I really love the book, I could always get a second copy if I needed to. This is still new, but you can buy it used as well. So here, color temperature. Great. We're here looking at Kelvin temperature from 1,000 to 10,000 Kelvin. It obviously goes higher than that. And you'll see here down at the bottom, it says 10,000 clear blue sky. I love that they have this in here because there may be a misconception that a clear blue sky is going to be closer to 5,600 Kelvin. It's not. And you can see here the explanation why. Let's go ahead and see what other pages I bookmarked. Sunrise and sunset, explanation of why that color temperature changes and why we get something like golden hour or golden 10 or 15 minutes. Angle of view and how that relates to focal length. Great explanation, and you can obviously see the infographic component of this book. Understanding how stops work, and of course that ties into the triangle and all of that stuff. Which, hey, there you go. Speak of the devil. ISO, aperture, shutter speed, freezing movement, blurring movement. Let's see what else we have inside of the book. The Sony 16 rule, which is great to know about, and then more explanation of that in terms of exposure values. It's just a really well thought out book in terms of how it is laid out and the information and how it's presented, understanding exposure modes, all those times you've looked down at that dial on your camera and maybe scratched your head. There is a small section on video talking about shutter angle and understanding that, and obviously the relationship between that and shutter speed. Filter types, polarizing filters and understanding what those do. And then right here we have lighting ratios and a great explanation of that. All around, pretty fantastic book. This is the one, Exposure, an infographic guide to photography and cinematography, in my opinion, by David Taylor. Don't forget to, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.